They're going to be in that game. But that's sort of the equalizer across college basketball. UConn is the best team I've seen in person this year in college basketball. Purdue is the second best team I've seen in person. It appears like everything's been on a collision course all year for that. But would it surprise anybody if Alabama or NC State won these games? It wouldn't me. I mean,
No.
because while there's a gap, it's college basketball. It's more difficult to predict college basketball games at the highest level than I think the NBA at the highest level.
Oh, yeah, especially when you get to this stage when you only get one.
Correct. And that's it. Yeah. It's game 7 in the NBA Saturday night for these two games. That's
All right,
it.
so how do you treat is there a build-up or how do you approach your emotions as you approach this game, and then we'll say goodbye to Kevin Kugler?
Well, I think the buildup is just we're down to the final 4. We're down to the final 2 games, and for me, the emotion is it going to be the 2 teams that everybody's pegged since November as the best in college basketball, or do we get to see one of the great runs that we've seen in the last 40 years from NC State continue? Do we get to see an Alabama team that's playing with a giant chip on their shoulder for whatever reason? I think they've just decided to have a chip
Nate
on their
Oates,
shoulder.
which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine. But it's also a great story. Guy was a high school coach a decade ago,
Yeah.
has a team now in the Final Four that plays a run-and-gun, up-and-down-the-floor style. All of these are great stories to tell. I'm anxious to see which one we get to tell starting Saturday night.
At Kevin Kugler on Twitter. That's his name.
No, that's my name.
Westwood 1. I appreciate your time, my man.
Good to see you. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here, too. Nice to see you again.
Yep,
We're going to talk to Julius Hodge, who was a legend at NC State, coming up in a few minutes. Julius will actually join us right here as we get ready for NC State and Purdue. The Jewels, or the Jewels, will be here in a little bit. And I think we can't forget that while there's a gap between Purdue and NC State, there's a gap between Alabama and UConn. It's not an insurmountable gap, and it's a one-game deal. And whenever you get to the tournament, anything could happen. All right, lots to do. Julius Hodge will join us on the other side. I am Adam Gold. I am in Phoenix at the Final Four. Victoria is back in our studios in Raleigh. Appreciate all the people hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Duluth Trading Company. Duluth Trading Company stacks your starting lineup with higher performing gear all year round, plus keeps all your zones covered and comfy. Online or in stores. Get into Duluth today. Said this yesterday. I recommend the underwear. You don't have to get anything else. They also have something else. If you have like muscle pain, they've got it's an antiseptic stick called Quit Your Bitchin'.
I love this.
Oh, yeah. It's really good at relieving lower back pain, or if you've got muscle aches, dynamite. So check that out.
Great underwear and sticks that help pain.
Yeah, and by the way, not just great underwear for men. Great underwear all over the place. Like men and women. I guess there are not that many options. Men, women, I don't know, dogs. They also have dog products, I think, Duluth Trading Company. Check them out. All right, Julius, I'll stop now. Julius Hodge is going to join us on the other side, a legend of NC State. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NC State, Purdue, Bama, UConn.
The first Final Four ticket is punched by the defending national champions UConn.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide will roll into the Final Four.
The Final Four will be heard here. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader. Final Four coverage from Phoenix is built by Mungo Homes, building homes and dream teams for 70 years.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at the Law Tigers. Big shout out to everyone who signed up to win the Custom Hurricanes Harley-Davidson 2023 Softail motorcycle that the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes all teamed up together to give the ultimate Canes fan. It's going to be given away Friday, April 5th on the ice, and I cannot wait to see who wins it. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you could start your new career in the high-demand, recession-resistant field of information technology. Isn't it time you invest in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill to boost your current IT career? So, get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or a 2 bird dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Adam Gold here for my friends at CertaPro Painters, and I call them my friends because I have used them before, and let me tell you, they know how important your home is to you. They made that clear to me. That's why they're focused on helping you bring a fresh color to your home, and they're great in even the hard-to-reach places we have vaulted ceilings. Each CertaPro Painters business is also independently owned and operated. In other words, they live right here in our community. You can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
This is Adam Gold.
Anti-vax, anti-sax. Who's going to say no to that on the campaign trail? You can put that on a bumper sticker. You can slap that on the podium when Aaron Rodgers is at the campaign rally. You're not going to be a football player for the Jets and be on the ticket and campaign. You can't do both.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We're at the Final Four in Phoenix, and we are going to talk to Julius Hodge in just a second. So Julius will join us. He was going to be here, but he's going to be on the phone, and I'm saying that out loud so Victoria knows. So there we go. Julius Hodge will join us here in just a second. Real quick, I've got a little breaking news. We can do that. Boom! All right, the Carolina Panthers didn't want to pay Brian Burns, but they had no problem paying defensive tackle Derek Brown. He has agreed to a 4-year contract extension. The team announced today with the price tag at $96 million. $63 million of that is guaranteed. 4th highest in the NFL for a defensive tackle, the $24 million per year average. Chiefs' Chris Jones, Raiders defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, who played his college ball at Clemson, and Ravens, Raiders, Christian Wilkins, and Ravens Justin Madubuike all signed new contracts this offseason. And then there's Derek Brown. Talked about it before the offseason, how he was the one guy on defense that I felt Carolina could not let go. Now, I'm not saying that edge rusher is less important than defensive tackle, but I think we're learning just how difficult it is to find defensive tackles like Derek Brown. And those guys, especially young guys like that, you got to figure out a way to keep them. It's not that, edge rushers are a dime a dozen. That's not the case. I just feel like that there are more impact players with at edge rusher. You can have a better chance of finding one of them, like a Jadeveon Clowney, who you sign as a free agent. You have a better chance of finding one of them than you do somebody with the talent of DJ Burns. Rather than DJ Burns. I apologize. Derek Brown. Brown is absolutely awesome. So excited for the Panthers. I think that is an absolutely great deal. A Pro Bowler for the first time last season. 103 tackles last year, led the NFL, 47% run stop win rate. I mean, you're talking about one of the best in the sport. And you get him, he's your guy you drafted. Yes, same thing for Brian Burns. Your guy you drafted, but this is a guy that I think you had to keep. Julius Hodge is going to join us. Unfortunately, he's not going to be with us. He's going to be on the phone. But Hodge, who I have been communicating with throughout, has been living and dying with the Wolfpack. And maybe we're now beyond Matt Frigie, right? Maybe we're beyond that. I don't know if Julius is, but maybe we're all beyond Matt Frigie as we try to get hooked up with Julius Hodge on the phone here in a second. But it is a great time to be a Wolfpack fan. It's a great time to be somebody who has bled with the basketball program for such a long time. Like I was talking with Kevin before we started the segment here live, Kevin Kugler, the voice of the Final Four for Westwood One, and that I wasn't going to come out here if it wasn't NC State. I don't think people, because there aren't that many people who understand the history of what State meant to the league, to the formation of the league, what State was in college basketball. When I got here in 1998, when I moved to town in 1998, all I heard was, we used to. That's all I heard from State fans. And they were mad because what they had wasn't what they used to be. And it was hard. It was hard to kind of process all of that. And now they have an opportunity kind of on two fronts. I don't want to, I'm in no way trying to minimize what the women are doing. It's not quite the same, right? This is a men's program that hasn't seen this type of national success, not in 41 years because they won a title in 83, but, I mean, they got to Elite Eights in back-to-back seasons in 85 and 86. So it was after the Valvano era ended. That's the last time that we have seen national success for NC State, except for that 1 year in 2003 when the Wolfpack were a 3 seed and looked like they were that close to getting to a Sweet 16 for the second time. Julius Hodge, he was the star of that team, now an assistant coach at Arkansas Little Rock, and he joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Are you now over Matt Frigie, sir?
I've been let that go, Adam. Thanks for having me, man.
Okay, I'm glad you have. I don't necessarily believe you, but that's all right. How have you enjoyed this particular run from this particular team?
I've truly enjoyed it. The number one thing is that it was so unexpected from everyone except for those 15 guys in that locker room. And for them to be where they are today, it's amazing. Now, every Pack fan, we love it, right?
Right.
Our number one thing is we want it to be, relevant again. And for us to now be we're the best team in the Triangle, in the ACC, right? I think that's hands down. I am not joking. Like, I'm not even joking. I am serious. We're the best team in the ACC. We're the best team in the Triangle by far. We've proven that. And the way these guys are playing is just uplifted everyone's spirit, the joy around the program, the happiness, the pride, the sense of pride. We love it. And I know nationally it's been a narrative of, people trying to say the underdog, and that's ridiculous. I mean, we're clearly better than these teams we're beating, and it's not close. So I love it for NC State fans.
Julius Hodge is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I have mad respect for Julius Hodge, always have, because he understands the history of the sport and why, having spent 4 years here, but you also understand the history. I always was blown away that you used to watch old games, like really old games, when you were
Absolutely.
a student at NC State. So you get what it means to the people. How this is resonating with them. You've got to be thrilled for all the people that told you we used to, right?
Yes, absolutely. I've always been a big historian of the game, and just everyone who would tell us our group from 2001 to 2005, and educate us about the '83 team and the '74 championship. And for us right now to be so close and to see it with these group of guys, I'm literally living what I missed in '83 when I wasn't even born yet. I'm able to see it right now in modern day. So it's awesome to just be a part of it and to see these guys represent our university with such pride, integrity, and grace.
All right, now in this run, which began with that Tuesday night win over Louisville, moved through Syracuse, and then got to Thursday, 3 out of the last, 7 wins have been Duke twice and North Carolina. What is the significance of that?
There isn't any, Adam. We're supposed to beat them. We've always thought this way, right? So now everyone is just happening to see it, but we always thought we were just as good as a program as those guys, if not better. And I honestly feel like right now we have the best coaching staff in the Triangle, and these guys are showing it. They're proving it night in, night out, and it's a great time to be a Wolfpack fan. But again, this is expected of us to be better than those two programs, all right?
Gosh, you are doing all of this with a straight face. It is so amazing. Julius Hodge is joining us here.
Absolutely. It's not a joke. It is not a joke. It is not. It is not.
All right. when you were watching the game on Sunday against the Blue Devils, and this is what I saw as an observer. I watched this game, and they came out in the second half, and I saw one team that knew they belonged and the other that just didn't know what to do, and nobody would have expected that the team that knew they belonged and was more comfortable would have been NC State. And I think that had to that spoke volumes about their preparation and about the way they're playing.
Absolutely. The preparation that Coach Keats has had with this team and his staff and guys being constantly ready to step up to the plate, not just recognizing that it's a big moment, but also capitalizing on that. It's been great to watch. Being able to outplay some of the teams we have and the coaches and our coaching, right?
Yeah.
It's really been fantastic, amazing, magnificent. Any of the those words or vocabulary you want to use. It's been all of that. But, and also, a former teammate of mine, Levi Watkins, he was a part of the staff. And he told me when he got the job that he was going to be able to help turn things around. And to see that happen within 2 years, I think Levi is definitely going to be next up for a head coaching job. And I love it for him, and I love it for my Pack.
Yeah, your Wolfpack are doing a great job here. Julius Hodge, 2 more quick things. You're a coach. How would you, game plan for Zach Edey if you were Kevin Keatts?
Well, for one, I would start with the officials, and I would like to say I hope they call the game extremely tight. Because if they do so, I do believe that we have the better team. But if they allow the big guys to play, which I want to see, because I think that's what everyone wants to see, game planning against a player of that stature, of that size, obviously it's going to be really difficult, right? But what I would have done, I would have went in synergy, and I would have saw every time he got trapped in a post, and I would have saw his assist-to-turnover ratio out of those situations, and I wanted to see if those passes were leading to assists or hockey assists. Or if maybe he was a poor passer out of the post. Then after that, I would go and I would say, all right, well, who do I want to save? Who do I want to have in the game for a long time? And then I would defend him depending on who's the person that I want to stay in the game, right? The great thing about Big Burns is, he plays about half the game and he's able to do what he's doing. So he kind of plays, a bit of reserve minutes, even though he's, clearly one of the better players on the team. He gets this done within half the game. So I think that's an advantage to NC State if the refs call it a close game.
Yeah, I've said before that NC State dictating how they want to use DJ Burns is way better than the officials dictating how NC State can use DJ Burns. And final thing, because I know you were with Nate Oates for 1 year in Buffalo. Nobody's surprised that Nate Oates is a good coach. I mean, nobody's shocked. What chance do you give them against UConn?
Man, UConn really has a good team. And Coach Oates has always coached his groups to play extremely fast, to get out there, push pace, and to shoot a lot of threes. So it's going to be tough being that UConn team and what Coach Hurley is doing, and Coach Kamani has, what those guys have built up the last couple of years. But it's going to be a fun game.
Oh, yeah. Should be an absolute blast. And no shortage of excitement on either bench either. Nate Oates and Danny Hurley, they might arm wrestle at some point just for giggles. Julius Hodge, I thank you very much, man. We're all living vicariously through you and through this team. So I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me, Adam.
You got it. Julius Hodge, the absolute best. All right, we're going to get to Pat Welter, who's with the Wolfpack. I love the fact that Julius did all of that. Best team. Honestly, is the hashtag facts at this point? Awesome stuff from Julius Hodge. Appreciate all that he's done. He's now an assistant coach at Arkansas Little Rock, if you are interested in looking him up. But the Jules, and that was the one thing that always got me about Julius Hodge. Because we used to talk to him in the locker room all the time, and Julius had a deep understanding of the history of college ball. Most of the kids who play, I mean, they love the game, but they probably are more NBA fans than they are college fans. Julius had a great understanding of the college game and the history of the college game. And that's why this means so much, because NC State basketball is so much the history of college basketball and ACC basketball and the growing popularity, or, the explosion of the sport really before the tournament became so huge. But State is so much of the foundation of it. It's an awesome, I told this to Kevin before, had it just been Carolina or just been Duke, I probably wouldn't have been here. NC State made it special Not that those other teams weren't great in their own right. Pat Welter from WRAL TV5 is joining us. He's with the Wolfpack. We're sort of grabbing him in between assignments and interviews. How much of this experience are guys soaking in, and how much of this experience are guys out here looking to prove a point?
I think one way to put it, Adam, is something Kevin Keatts has been saying all week is they're here to have fun, but they're also here to be business and to win. And I think, seeing this NC State team play, been to their games, cover them like you and I have, this is a loose team. Like, that's their personality. They take the personality of their head coach. They take the personality of their star player, DJ Burns. So, I think they're embracing the moment, having a lot of fun on these, early media days. DJ Burns is now like a circus around him. He's a cult of personality. So that's a lot of fun. And, they're getting the same questions every round because everyone's every round is writing the ultimate definitive story on this story because it's incredible and it just keeps on going.
Yeah, it's just an incredible story. At this point, and I haven't necessarily seen DJ in commercials, but he's like it's like NASCAR. This guy could be he's like a walking billboard at this point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we all knew it. Like, as soon as you saw this guy play, I remember when he transferred here, and it's like, okay, who are these guys Kevin Keatts brought in? They got a big guy from Winthrop. I hear he's got some touch. And then you see him play, and you're like, oh, okay, he's like that. And it was immediate, like, okay, you can see it now. Like, Barstool Sports finds this guy in March. He's going to go viral, He's the lovable big man. It's one of the classic characters of March. And now we're finally getting that moment for them because last year's team was, in some ways you could argue, better than this one, certainly more high-end talent. And so, but you got a Terquavion Smith who's in the NBA, Darnell Joyner. That was a really good team that just ran into a tough matchup with Creighton. So he didn't get that moment in the sun, and he's getting it now. He's funny, though, because he is, like, as much as he loves the spotlight, he also is trying to play it down. Like, some of his teammates are like, he's the same guy I've always known. He's also getting off the bus last. Like, he knows he's the main attraction, too. So he's kind of walking it both ways of the street.
He isn't, he's just fun. And I think people gravitate towards fun players, fun people. I think his demeanor is very humble, and he also understands that he's kind of representing the school. Like he's in a unique position to have all of this spotlight, and I think for the most part, all college athletes, it's new to all of them because they can do so much more. It is very cool. Pat Welter is joining us, WRAL TV5. He is, I assume you're somewhere inside State Farm Stadium as you get ready to continue doing what you need to do. DJ Horne, you could argue, though, is if NC State is going to win this game, it might not necessarily be because of DJ Burns. It'll be a DJ Horne or a Casey Morsell to provide enough offense away from the basket so they don't have to rely on DJ Burns.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's kind of twofold, right? Like, it starts with DJ Burns, but it doesn't necessarily have to end with him, where the possessions go through him, right? But then he's going to get doubled, and he's become so good at passing out of that. But that's the thing that's been different about him this year is his efficiency out of those doubles has really been off the charts. And you're right. It might be DJ Horne, and it might be also a cumulative effect of the others, that Shaq always likes to talk about. I think Kevin Keatts really nailed it on the head during this run. He's like, as great as Terquavion and Jarkel were last year, if those guys weren't on, we went as they went. Whereas with this team, there's so many guys that are stepping up, whether it's Casey Morsell, Mohamed Diarra, Michael O'Connell. We're not here without Michael O'Connell's banked-in three against Virginia. And something I was reminded of after the ACC championship was this team, as much as it reminds everyone of 1983, also reminds me of UNC from 2 years ago, which was a team that barely made the NCAA tournament but clicked in with their roles and had guys step up each round, whether it was off the bench or like in Dontrez Styles against Baylor, or if it was, Brady Manick going nuclear from three. And this team, in a lot of ways, is really similar, where they're a role definition team. And in modern college basketball, this kind of team can win in March.
Yeah, and who is that out of nowhere guy for you other than, because it might be Mo Diarra, right?
I just talked to Mo Diarra a couple minutes ago. I mean, and what a story, right? Like, everybody knows it now. He's fasting, for all of March for Ramadan. And, I was joking with the trainers. I'm working on a story about it. And they're like, yeah, at this point, like, even if Ramadan was over, they're joking like you almost want to keep the routine going because you're so used to it and it's working. But, I mean, like, just think of, like, this team, all of these guys appreciate being here so much. All of the starters are transfers, including Diarra. Like, this is a guy that's from France, played soccer, went to junior college, Garden City Community College, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Had to transfer to Missouri and is here and is now, I mean, I think I could argue he's their best NBA prospect.
I agree.
3-and-D stretch 4 that, his three-point shot's getting better. I mean, that's incredible. So it's just like, pick a guy. You've got a story, and we're cranking them all out here in Phoenix, me and Casey Hintz, because, this is we're trying to follow up one of the best sports stories ever told with 1983 with 2024.
Pat Welter from WRAL TV5 is joining us here. That's right. He grew up playing soccer. I'm curious. Do we know? Is he a PSG fan? Does he have a team in Ligue 1 he roots for? Does he have an EPL side? Now I'm curious because
Yeah, you're the soccer aficionado more so than me. I covered Orlando City in the MLS, so I'm not going to pretend to know there. But I mean, his French accent is thick. It'll be the question I have to ask him the next time I'm out there, because I'm sure, he gets the same questions every time he's out here. About fasting, about what changed.
Right.
I'm sure he'd love to talk about some soccer.
So somebody needs to go ask him, is he mad that Kylian Mbappe looks like he's leaving for Real Madrid? I just need to know. I need to know these things.
I'm taking notes.
All right. Pat Welter, enjoy the ride, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, we're about to head out to open practice here, so another big day in Phoenix before the big game tomorrow. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. Pat Welter here from WRAL TV5 Sports is covering the Wolfpack. It's those things that I want to know. Is he a PSG fan? Is he more Marseille, Lille? Does he like Monaco? Right? I don't know. I don't know who you're a fan of in Ligue 1. It would be pretty boring to be a PSG fan. Like, the league's stacked in their favor. I don't know. The things I worry about, I think about. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, I do think he is one of the more fascinating stories in the entire tournament. And knowing that, you almost wish that the NCAA and the people who make the schedule would have gone, hey, man, they got a guy's fasting for Ramadan. Let's see if we can put their games, after sundown, so he might be able to get some calories, some nourishment in him, so he doesn't, not risking passing out during the game. And then all these games, especially this one, there's no window here at the Final Four since they play the first game at just after 3 o'clock local time. They'd have to be playing 14 overtimes for Mo Diarra to be able to get, some calories in his body during the game. So it's going to be, hopefully, whatever he's eaten and IV'd before sunup, so around by 6 o'clock roughly, that's it. That's what he's got. Anyway, it's a great story either way. So I wish the Wolfpack all the best. Just adding to the many layers of great story. Thanks to Pat Welter. All right, when we come back, we will stretch. We will place bets. Let's see, we've got the NC State women, the NC State men tomorrow. This is our last one. And the Hurricanes tonight. I bet they'll all be featured as we risk units next.
Rally to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, agriculture touches every corner of our daily lives. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. With the world's population growing, we need people equipped and trained to meet the needs of our future. In our program, we rise to meet that challenge every day, and our students are engaged and invested. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
All right, North Carolina, FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, officially live, up and running here in the Tar Heel State. And new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager. Go to FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to sign up now. Then you can bet on everything from hoops to NASCAR and everything in between, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Get started with $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to get started. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games features 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
St. Louis brought the world gooey butter cake. Now Bluebell brings us gooey butter cake ice cream. A cake batter ice cream with a luscious cream cheese swirl and gooey butter cake pieces. It's the gateway to the best in pints and half gallons.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Fair housing is more than just a celebration in April. For North Carolina's realtors, it's an everyday standard. For the 56,000 realtors across our state, we embrace and support fair housing to stamp out discrimination in all forms. As realtors, we believe fairness is worth fighting for, and we won't stop until the fight is won. Celebrating Fair Housing Month, North Carolina Realtors. We open doors to everyone. Paid for by North Carolina Realtors.
This is Adam Gold.
Dan on Twitter, who you got? Robert Plant or Elvis Presley? That is actually very difficult because I don't want to disrespect Elvis Presley. I think it's Elvis. It's very, very close. And that is an incredible question.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Still to come in the program, as though we haven't already done a lot. Frankly, I think we've already done more today than we did all of yesterday, times two. PJ Carlesimo, who had Seton Hall just a few minutes from a national championship back in 1989. He also coached in the NBA. He'll be part of Westwood One's radio team for this Final Four. PJ is awesome. We'll talk with him. Lon Kruger a long-time college basketball coach that took unofficially 46 teams to the NCAA tournament, different schools. And we're going to close the show with the ladder guy. At the end of everything, when we get to Monday night, everybody's going to climb a ladder. We'll talk to the guy who makes the ladder.
Nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, nobody will be, actually, only DJ Burns will be able to cut down and Mo Diarra and Ben Middlebrooks. They'll be able to reach up and cut the net down.
Right.
Everybody else, you're going to have to go get your own ladder, unless ladder guy is here.
Yes.
It's all very exciting. All right, all of that's coming up in just a little bit. We're going to place bets here on a Friday in just a few. First, let's stretch.
Oh, yes, we need to stretch on this Friday, and Aaron Rodgers has been doing a lot of stretching.
Has he? Yoga? Is he doing yoga?
Maybe. He probably is. I could totally see him doing yoga. But no, I read an article about how the NFL has a thing called performance-based pay. Some people probably know this, but just in case you don't, it's designed to give extra compensation to those players who have lower salaries but overperformed what people expected. And you get a lot of playing time. So, for instance, Brock Purdy is one of those. He is the league's lowest paid starting quarterback with a base salary of $870,000. However, his performance-based pay was $739,000, which almost doubled his salary. So there is that. But Aaron Rodgers, we all remember he lasted all of 2 seconds last season. So his salary is $75 million over 2 years, but because of his injury, he only took about 0.33% of that, or his snaps. So his performance base was $81.14.
$81.14. That will get you lunch in Midtown Manhattan.
At Chick-fil-A. No, I'm just kidding.
He'll go to a bagels. He'll go to David's Bagels in Soho.
Yes, exactly. So in case you were wondering, okay, how much did Aaron actually make with that performance-based when he performed for maybe 5 minutes of the season? Yeah, less than $100. So there's that. Now, what you can do, I'm sure he can afford this. Everyone's had cup noodles, right? That's the thing. Everyone.
Cup of noodles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's had ramen.
That's not my
at some
favorite.
point.
It was never my favorite.
No, but hard times. Sometimes you got to get it. Well, the company that makes cup noodles has made a new flavor.
Have they?
Speaking of bagels, I like how you unintentionally had a good segue here.
Yeah.
They are making a, quote, everything bagel with cream cheese flavor.
Of cup of noodles?
Yes. And it's not
I'm
an
with you until the cream cheese.
I know. The everything seasoning is actually very delightful. You could put that on all kinds of stuff.
You could make that a soup.
Exactly. Well,
you don't need the cream cheese.
That's what they're doing, because with this, it comes with the caraway seeds, dried onion, garlic, poppy seeds, sesame seeds, with cream cheese flavored sauce.
Nice.
Boy. Yeah, so this is not an April Fool's joke, even though it is kind of around April Fool's. But they have come up with other weird flavors that I think I've also talked about in a seventh inning stretch. They had the pumpkin spice, and remember the maple syrup pancake sausage egg combo that they did? Yeah, that was recently. So yeah, you can get this at where other than the Mart of Wall. You can get it at Walmart for $1.20 starting next week. So
I'm going to have to get. Well, we have a great Walmart up where I live in the province of Granville.
Nice.
So I'm going to have to get this. I'm going to have to figure it out.
Oh, you'll have to try it. And last but not least, we may have to try this because this might be good for our blood pressure. There is a thing called speech fasting. And basically that is where you do not talk until noon. Noon. Could you imagine? That's crazy. Whoa. So if this all started because a European singer went viral from posting it on social media, and she's been doing it to kind of like take care of her quote instrument. But a study in 2005 linked prolonged periods of silence with dramatically changing your blood pressure by lowering it.
Sure.
So it can also help your stress hormone, cortisol. So, yeah. See, maybe that's what we need to do over the weekend, because we talk a lot. You know, that's what we do for a living. So maybe we need to try this like speech fasting thing.
Oh, I kid you not. Like when we go on long trips, I've gone with Jack to wherever. I mean, I don't mind shutting everything off and just being silent.
Yes.
For long stretches.
Yes.
I can go like 3 hours with nothing.
See, you're already on it then. You're already
Oh my
speech
gosh,
fasting.
that's how I stay alive.
There you go. Well, something else that we're on is making some bets.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
We didn't do this yesterday. We
No.
got too crazy with everything else. So
I know. It happens.
we managed to fit it in today. All right, let's go. We must have punching and kicking in the face
Yes,
this
we
weekend,
do.
right?
Yes,
All
we
right.
do. I
Go
was
ahead.
doing that last night, so the video will be up later today. But
Excellent.
UFC is back in the desert with you. They're in Vegas for 90. And first up, a prelim fight, Court McGee versus Alex Morono. Alex, he is a fierce dude. He almost won against his last opponent here recently. So I'm going to pick him to beat Court, probably maybe by the points. That's plus 200.
Plus 200, very nice. Let's start with the women. The women are in Cleveland, the Wolfpack women. We're actually going to parlay them and Iowa outright winner. So NC State plus 11.5. Iowa outright to beat UConn. I think that's going to be a really close game, but I don't want to pick UConn. I want to pick Iowa. That's plus 210 when NC State covers. I think they can win that game. But I'll just take NC State plus the 11.5 and Iowa to win outright plus 210 on the parlay.
Okay. I like it. Anything for State. So the next one, going to the main card, Alex Hernandez versus Damon Jackson. I don't like this fight. It's just because these two guys, it's a coin toss. Like anything could happen with these guys. I think Damon's got the edge, though, so give me him by the points. It's plus 500.
Whoa.
I like it. I know.
That's crazy. All right, let's get to, we'll go to the men. Tomorrow, State. This ride ain't over, people. Outright, plus 350 money line, Wolfpack beat Purdue.
Also like that one. And last up, the main event for UFC Vegas 90, Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis. This is a rematch. I love a good rematch. But I think Brendan Allen is going to come out with a win with this one. He lost the first time back in 2021. Don't think that's going to happen again. He is a submission freak. Give me Brendan Allen for a submission, plus 175.
All right, the last two Hurricanes-Capitals games have gone into a shootout. I think we're going extra time here as well. Sebastian Aho, anytime goal scorer. Under 5.5 goals total. Overtime, plus 25.50. Let's roll. Hurricanes will win the game anyway. Let's roll tonight. All right, we got a lot more basketball to talk about. Lon Kruger's taken 1,000 teams to the NCAA tournament. PJ Carlissimo nearly won the NCAA tournament. And we're also going to get you Ladder Guy. That's right, all of that. Plus, you got to hear Wes Moore on KF.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We have the women's tonight and the men's tomorrow, so the huge college basketball tournament that everyone has been talking about is ramping back up. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and there's still time to see what all the hype is about when you hear your friends or your coworkers talk about that parlay that had them on the edge of their seat. Right now, you can get $150 in bonus bets just by making your first $5 wager and using code VICTORIA150. Whether you win or lose, you still get $150 $150 in bonus bets. And when you use the BetMGM app, you'll have options like those same-game parlays I mentioned, live bets, prop bets, boosts. And one thing I particularly love is the daily promotions BetMGM offers. So for $5, you'll get $150 to experiment with in bonus bets just by using code Victoria150. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
What are you doing?
I'm training for the new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs. I could get a chance to dash through a warehouse full of prizes.
That explains the shopping cart.
Plus, I could win up to $2 million in cash.
And that explains the tuxedo.
I'm chafing.
Feel the rush with new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.78. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with Upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed Upfit solutions from Van Products.
Welcome to Sweetbriar in Durham by Mungo Homes. Sweetbriar is where location, lifestyle, and luxury meet just 10 minutes from shopping at Briar Creek. In this amenity-rich neighborhood, which will include a pool with lazy river, a huge fire pit, outdoor fitness and playground options, and dog parks, there's a new home designed for you whether it's your first home or your last. Most anything you need to access in the Triangle is a 20-minute commute. Go to mungo.com today to learn more about Sweetbriar in Durham. mungo.com.
Now is the time to switch to Spectrum. Get Spectrum Internet delivering fast and reliable speeds for just $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced security and a free Spectrum Mobile Unlimited line with nationwide 5G. Ask how you can get a Visa Rewards card up to $500 when you add more mobile lines. Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile. Get it all with Spectrum One. Go to Spectrum.com for full details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Restrictions apply.
Let's party like it's 1874 at the City of Sanford's 150th birthday bash happening Saturday, April 6th at Sanford Fairgrounds, kicking off at 10:30 a.m. This is a free event with family-friendly performances and much more. Visit Sanford150.com for all the details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
You can feel the madness!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Burns shovels it to the cutting horn, shoots over Filipowski, glass and good.
I am Adam Gold. We're at the Final Four in Houston. Amanda was in Dallas and coached the Seton Hall Pirates within a whisker of a national championship in 1989. PJ Carlissimo is on the call for Westwood One. You saw the DJ Burns experience up close and personal in Dallas. First of all, thank you very much for spending some time.
Adam, great to be with you again.
All right, let's what did you see from the big man who they're trying to make an offensive tackle? Why can't they just let him play basketball?
Exactly right. He's putting all that to rest. Unbelievably impressive. Watching the tapes before the game and then watching the two games there. Kevin Keats has his team playing so well, and DJ's in the middle of it, particularly on the offensive end, and it's really impressive. I mean, it seems like you double him, he's going to find somebody else, and they're making shots, and you don't double him, he just backs it in, and he's going to score. It doesn't matter who plays him, and Kevin's teams always take good care of the ball. I mean, they seldom turn it over, and they're very good at creating turnovers themselves. So you put that combination with the fact right now, the way they're defending, I mean, obviously all 4 teams to get here, they're defending well, but the numbers, the defensive numbers that the Wolfpack have put up just in the tournament, forget what they did in the ACC tournament, is unbelievable. So if they can keep defending at the rate that they're defending right now, they might have 2 more wins in them.
Look, you count them out at your own peril at this point. PJ Carlesimo is here. You were in Dallas for the regionals where the Wolfpack were. DJ, I mean, obviously he's got a power side to him. He backs guys down from the three-point line. But there's a finesse to his game that is uncommon for big men.
No question. No, he's got, first of all, his left hand is unbelievable. I mean, he does so much stuff just with the one hand. It's incredible. I mean, he throws those passes, catches the ball. Sometimes he's like holding a guy off with the right forearm and catches the ball. I mean, it's remarkable what he does. But he has an excellent touch shooting the ball. It's his passing that, to me, separates him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of great players in college basketball, and he does many things well, but the combination of his size and strength and his ability to score, and yet he sees the floor very, very well. He's one of those guys, like there's a lot of guys are good players. You're happy to have them, but they really don't do anything for the other guys on the team. He makes the other guys better because they know if they get open, he's going to get him the ball, and he's so good offensively that he commands the double teams, oftentimes. So that it's a really good combination. But I fell in love with him just watching him. It's great. I'm looking forward to seeing him play here again. We had a great interview with him in Dallas, and it's really nice to see a team. Seems there's a team like this every year that kind of gets it together, but not coming from where NC State was after those last 4 regular season games. I mean, everybody knew, there's talent. It's a good team, and everybody knows how good a coach Kevin is. But I mean, for it to come together the way it's come together for them, and for them to defend at the level they're defending right now, the guards blew me away because I thought Marquette's backcourt is way above average. I think it's a big time backcourt, and Duke's the same thing. Duke's got 3 great guards. The perimeter defenders on State just took them out of the game. Yeah. Completely took them out of the game. And that's going to be a huge factor against Purdue because, Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer are so important. Everybody talks about Zach Edey as well, you should. But a big part of Purdue, one of the big differences this year in Purdue is they shoot the 3 so much better and they're getting so much offense from those 2 guards. But I'll tell you what, they cannot be anxious to play against the NC State backcourt when you watch the way they've defended.
All right, I want to dig into that a little bit. PJ Carlesimo is here. They're not pressing the way Kevin's teams pressed at Wilmington, right? It's almost like we're pressing just to make you take more time than you want.
Well, I agree when they pick up, but in the half court, they just don't let you run your offense. They do such a good job staying in front of the ball handler. I mean, they very seldom get beat off the dribble. And when you don't get beat off the dribble, you don't have to help. Your half-court defense is so much better. And they're able to pressure, like in Duke's case, really not that different than Marquette, but especially in Duke's been, when they're making threes the way they have through the tournament, Duke's like unbeatable. Not only did they not let them get the 3 off, they took them off the line and still were able to stay in front of them, which is really hard to do. And, it's the way Mo Diarra is playing right now.
That's where I was going to go next.
Middlebrook's off the bench. I mean, that trio that Kevin's kind of juggling, the 3 bigs together, when there is a breakdown and when guys get through, it's tough to finish at the rim. I mean, it's not an accident. People are shooting the percentages they're shooting against NC State.
About Mo Diarra. Now, we know the story, the Ramadan thing, and during the games, it has to be difficult. He can't hydrate. Everything is happening, especially this game is the first game, so it's going to be entirely played during, with the sun up in the air. So when you see Diarra as a player, what are you seeing?
Well, I tell you, I see a guy that, does 2 things really. I mean, he does a lot of things well, but the 2 things that jumped out at me, he runs the floor very, very well. He's a great cutter. He moves really well without the ball, and you don't usually have bigs that cut where he's able to cut from. He can make threes. I don't think that's his forte, but he can make them. He's credible with that. But it's like the combination of the rebounding and the shot blocking, and the fact that he's come on so late in the year, that three-person combination is really unbelievable, the way they've played. But I like Mo an awful lot. I like what he's done, and he really, he plays with a really nice energy. Really seems to enjoy himself, and it's fun to watch. And it's also fun to watch a guy that really wasn't a big part of things for half of the year, and now all of a sudden he's dead in the middle of everything and seems to be really enjoying it, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, I think this whole team is sort of embraced that. You can say the same thing about Michael O'Connell.
Yep.
O'Connell was not a huge – he was a part of it. He was a rotation player, but he was not a starter for most of the season. He wasn't playing 30-some-odd minutes.
Yep.
And now he has become – like, when you coached, you had a guy for 3 or 4 years, right? And now, like, NC State's entire team are out of the transfer portal.
6 of the guys are first-year guys. I mean,
right.
He brought 8 guys in, but 6 of them are in the rotation. And obviously, the two DJ and Casey are really important.
Right.
There's some carryover.
Yeah.
But it's not like they've been there 4 years.
No.
And even Casey. It's
his third year. Yeah.
I mean, after the 2 years at UVA. So it's really impressive. Like when I first started talking to Kevin in Dallas, I said one of the things that impressed me is you got 8 players. 6 of them are first-year guys. 2 of the rotation are there like a year, or in Casey's case 3. It's unbelievable to be able to defend the way they're defending. Michael O'Connell I knew well because I live in Seattle. I do Pac-12.
Okay.
I did Pac-12 network. Doesn't exist anymore. But
sorry.
So we saw Michael for 3 years
right.
at Stanford and know what he's capable of. And he fits into what we talked about in the beginning. Kevin's teams don't turn the ball over.
Right.
Well, guess what? Michael O'Connell's perfect for that. His assist turnover ratio is incredible. He always takes good care of the ball. And he's made some big threes. I mean, there's a couple of threes that went down for this team, or we wouldn't be here talking about them right now. So it's been a fun thing to watch, but it's not an accident. Michael O'Connell's a good player.
Right.
Mo Diarra, I did not know. I know him now. He's a good player. I didn't realize how good he was.
All right, I'll let you go here, PJ Carlesimo. Am I allowed to ask you to make a pick or no?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You don't do that.
I'm not good. I'm
not
good
do that
pick,
anymore.
and I couldn't even do I never knew what the hell my team was going to do. I just hope these games are as good as potentially they can be.
I think they'll be great.
There's interesting matchups. There's the 2 bigs going against each other, and obviously, anytime you play Purdue, it's what are you going to do against Zach Edey? I mean, he's,
hope.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's more about the perimeter guys.
I'll tell you what, if it comes down to the perimeter guys, NC State's in really good shape.
Yeah.
Because I love defensively what their backcourt has done. And if they're able to do to Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer what they did against Marquette, what I saw against Marquette and against Duke, then NC State's going to be right there.
PJ Carlesimo, I thank you very much for your time.
Adam, great being with you.
You got it. We'll do it again next year when the Pack are back. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're here on Radio Row at the Final Four. I am Adam Gold. Still a lot to come. Lon Kruger's going to join us in a few minutes, and we have Ladder Guy as well next.
Rally to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Bama, UConn, NC State, Purdue.
And the next stop on the Purdue Redemption Tour is the Final Four.
And the Wolfpack back to college basketball's promised land.
The Final Four will be heard here. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader. Final Four coverage from Phoenix is built by Mungo Homes, building homes and dream teams for 70 years.
Tim Donnelly here for my friends at Zero Res. April showers bring May flowers. Well, how about this? Sitting on your couch in March brings crumbs and stains and spills on your carpet in April. That's where Zero Res comes in. Get your carpets cleaned. Not only is indoor air quality an issue year-round, but especially now that allergens and pollens are coming out of hibernation to invade your home. Get them all, the dust, the dander, everything out of your house using Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of your carpet Zero Resified starting at just $105. And if you get your air ducts cleaned, they'll clean your dryer vent for free. That's a $165 value. Call my friends at Zero Res right now. 919-995-0000 or go online at zeroresnc.com and say you want the 99.9 The Fan special. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It spells the same, and your house will smell clean.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or a 2 bird dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bow time.
And now a message from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith.
Hey, North Carolina, ESPN Bet is here. Make your first sportsbook bet and get $200 in bonus bets. All the action is on ESPN Bet. Download the app today.
As the official sportsbook of ESPN, it's the only place to find daily exclusives with your favorite ESPN personalities like Stephen A. Smith. Download today. What a play. Terms apply. See app for details. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Sick of the same old Friday night? Get out of your rut and get up to Roxborough for this. You kick back and enjoy. They race for cash prizes. Everyone has a great time at Roxborough Motorsports Park. Come out Friday nights for Freaky Friday. Gates open at 5. Races start at 6. Roxborough Motorsports Park. 65 years in business and still bringing folks from all over for weekly races, dirt drags, live music, and more. Now it's your turn to discover the excitement. Check out this week's schedule at RoxboroughMotorsportsPark.com.
Heard the catchphrase that's sweeping the nation?
Jackson Hugh, yeah.
People are saying Jackson Hugh yeah to Jackson Hewitt because they love saving money on tax prep. Do you love saving money? Then switch to Jackson Hewitt today and pay less than last year. Thousands of people have already made the switch. Why haven't you? Stop waiting and start filing. You won't get a better deal or a better catchphrase. All together now.
Jackson Hugh yeah!
Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Anti-vax, anti-sax. Who's going to say no to that on the campaign trail? You can put that on a bumper sticker. You can slap that on the podium when Aaron Rodgers is at the campaign rally. You're not going to be a football player for the Jets and be on the ticket and campaign. You can't do both.
The Adam Gold Show.
Adam Gold here at the Final Four. Radio Row, still a lot to do. We thank PJ Carlissimo for hanging out. Lon Kruger, who took 5 different schools to the NCAA tournament, and actually, better than that, I believe took 5 different schools to at least the Sweet 16. It was twice in the Final Four, with Florida and Oklahoma. As a matter of fact, when Carolina got to the Final Four in 2016, I think that was the year they lost to Villanova. Oklahoma was there as well, but he also took Florida to the Final Four in 1994. I mean, just a great coach, and now I guess he's the chair of Coaches versus Cancer. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and it kind of ties in with a lot of things that, NC State is about. And I think part of the really cool thing, and I want you to hear this real quick before Lon Kruger sits down. Wes Moore is in Cleveland. Obviously, the women play tonight, and the women will take on South Carolina coming up in a little bit. And he was asked at the press conference about the impact of Kay Yow and what she meant to him and what all of this means to NC State. And I want you to hear what Wes Moore had to say today.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it. Okay.
He's fighting back tears.
It's just hard to describe what she means in the state of North Carolina. And it was more than basketball. And even now, in her passing, look at what she's doing. The Kay Yow Foundation is doing so much for cancer research and treatment and helping people. I'm proud of that. Kay Yow and Jim Valvano are both NC State, and they're both making an impact in this world, even after their passing. So, it was unbelievable. I wish I had time to tell the story how I ended up at NC State with her. I mean, that whole thing's a miracle. I was a D3 coach in Tennessee, and, how I got that job's crazy. But, she was just such an unbelievable person. And that, of course, sometimes is hard to take because I know I'm not near the person she was.
Wow. But think about the legacy of Kay Yow, the Kay Yow Foundation, right? The V Foundation, and all that has been raised for, cancer research to maybe at some point, get rid of this unbelievable disease and what it does to families, what it does to people, what it does to communities. And so Lon Kruger is part of the Coaches versus Cancer movement. He is, I think, the chair of it. We'll talk to him in just a couple of minutes, on top of the fact that he's a heck of a basketball coach, and we can talk, obviously, about the games coming up. Canes played tonight. Let me just get a couple of more things in here, and certainly this, because one of the cool things about not having to drive here is that I don't have to fight the urge to pick up my phone and text Victoria. I can text Victoria while somebody else is driving, because using your phone while you're driving could kill someone. Put your phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA, NHTSA. Because I would do that. I would text Victoria, what do we have today? What's going on today? Are the Canes going to win today? Canes play tonight at home against the Washington Capitals, back-to-back games, both on home ice. Washington just played yesterday, lost to the Islanders, and now where we're looking at the playoffs, the Capitals are just on the outside looking in. It is incredible to me what the Metropolitan Division looks like, because you've got Philadelphia with 83 points, the Islanders with 83 points, Washington with 82, Pittsburgh with 81. Two of those teams are going to make the playoffs, more than likely. And one of them is not. And we'll find out starting tonight if Washington has a good chance to be one of those teams, because the Capitals had been playing pretty well. They certainly beat the Hurricanes in one of the craziest games you'll ever see a week ago. Hopefully the Hurricanes, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, feels like forever ago. But that's tonight at PNC Arena, and we'll be covering it from Phoenix because it's what we do. Now, Lon Kruger, these headphones are for you, sir, just so you can hear yourself, so you know you're here. Coached in over 1,000 games, made it to 2 Final Fours, took 4 schools to the Sweet 16 and beyond, 5 schools to the NCAA tournament. It's quite a resume, much better basketball resume than I have. And now you're with the American Cancer Society and all of this. First of all, what does this movement mean to you? Because we know at NC State how much Jim Valvano and Kay Yow have meant to raising money, even in their passing, to fight cancer. Why did you get involved? Why did you want to get involved?
Number one, thanks for the opportunity. Everyone's got a cancer story. Everyone's been touched by cancer in some way, shape, or form, and The American Cancer Society does a great job. Coaches versus Cancer is a part of that. And coaches all over the country use their platform to advocate for others to get involved in the fight. My story actually goes back. I was coaching at Kansas State in the old Big 8 conference back in the late 80s.
That's a long time ago.
A long time ago when Norm Stewart was diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
So Norm started this, what he called a three-point attack, where his boosters pledged so much for every three-pointer his team made. So now that started the groundswell for Coaches versus Cancer. Now celebrating our 30th year, and coaches all over the country do a great job advocating for others to get involved, raising dollars, of course. And most importantly, or really important, is impressing upon people the value of early screening.
Sure.
Early detection, gives people the best chance to win this battle, and coaches do a great job of using that platform.
How does the money raised, how is it used? How does it impact everything?
Well, it's $155 million over 30 years. Obviously, research, that's a huge part. Doctors do such a great job. We just have to give them more tools in which to keep making progress. We've made a lot of progress. People are living longer with cancer. They're living more quality lives with cancer. They're beating cancer more frequently than ever before, and that's because of the research that provides the doctors with the information and the ability to do their job.
All right, let me ask you a couple of things about basketball. You know a little bit about that as well. You got to a Final Four for the first time in '94. What was your first trip to the Final Four like for you?
Well, as a participant, it was crazy. I mean, you really can't prepare for it because you don't know you're going until 5 days ago when you win the Elite Eight.
Right.
So all of a sudden everything hits the fan, and all the travel plans and the tickets, and yet you got to try to maintain the pace for your players in terms of preparing for. At that time, we were playing Duke in the semifinal game, so it was a ball game that went down to the last possession, but we didn't come out on top. So it was a great disappointment when it ends. But and actually, we were in Charlotte in '94. One of the, I think, 2 or 3 years after that, it was still in the smaller arenas before it went to the domes. So we were kind of in Houston in '16 with Oklahoma. It was in the dome, of course, but in Charlotte was one of the last smaller venues.
Yeah. Do you like the big venues for this as a coach? Like I think the shooting numbers are basically the same, right? I don't think there's a huge statistical impact. But did you like it?
I think you'd rather have an intimate, crowd right on top of you. I think players would enjoy it more, coaches enjoy it more, but it needs to be in a dome because more people need to enjoy the experience. I mean, it's so huge. More people, the better. And coaches and players can deal with that. I don't think it affects the game obviously that much based on percentages, but more people can experience it, the better.
It's definitely noticeable if you're sitting in the lower bowl, and I had some friends who were actually at that Final Four in 2016, and I went to visit with them, and they sat in the lower bowl, and they were about 30 rows back, and like you can see the game, but it's definitely different than their other seats were, which were less than 30 rows back.
Yeah, no question. I think, in fact, in the dome, I mean, when we walked onto the court to practice in Houston in '16, you could actually sense a little breeze on your face. No question about it. I think Villanova had more to do with our terrible play than the dome did. But it was a great experience, and happy for our guys, and they'll have those memories for a lifetime.
What are the players? Is it easier for players to adjust to something like this?
No question. Players. They're playing, the rubber basketball on a hoop without a net on the asphalt. I mean, so they adjust anything. I think the idea of going in and, now dome is a little different. You need as much time there as you can. But for the most part during the year, we always intentionally didn't have a routine specific for fear if the routine got messed up, the players are thinking, oh, now we're not going to be ready to play.
Okay.
So we changed things up just for that. Fact to say, hey, it doesn't matter. We still got to go play. We still got to guard. We still have to make shots and not worry about any of the extras.
NC State is here, and they have made a point to say we are enjoying the experience. How was it for you? Because you went 2 different times, 2 different teams, a little bit more than 20 years apart. So what did you learn from '94 that you took to 2016, and how should teams approach it?
Well, in 22 years, like you say, the experience of everything certainly makes a difference. But approached it pretty similarly in that we wanted the players to enjoy it.
Right.
We wanted them to not go through it and not realize what they participated in, and yet we wanted them to understand that okay, we enjoyed, but when it comes time, we've got to prepare for a ball game and play the way you did that earned you the right to be here. You don't have to do anything greatly different. People aren't changing
Right.
a lot in the last 5 days. You know, these 4 teams are here because of what they did. North Carolina State might be a little different because they did things really differently in the last 3 weeks in a very good way. Congratulations to Coach Keats and how he kept that together and moving in a direction to get to the point where they're all of a sudden did something where they gained confidence and then just snowballed from there.
Right.
So great job there. But these 4 teams all have a different story. You know, North Carolina State's probably the most intriguing because of the swing in their season. But the expectations that UConn and Purdue had coming in, that's a tough burden all year long, and they've handled that extremely well and great years throughout. And then, of course, Alabama, a great year as well. And obviously they're going to have to make some shots to have a chance against UConn. But I think anyone to have a chance against UConn is going to have to make a lot of three-pointers.
Yeah, but that's what Alabama does. That's what they did to one of our other teams, North Carolina. They 3-point shot them out of the building. Lon Kruger is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. When you look at the State-Purdue matchup, and you've got DJ Burns, big guy. Zach Edey, somehow, bigger guy.
Bigger guy.
How do you see that?
Very intriguing. Edey's going to do what he does. I think Burns, has got to make some adjustments, because he's just that size inside is something he hadn't gone against. But Burns has made adjustments. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
He plays with a joy, and so it'll be interesting to see how they what assignments those big guys have, if they're putting Burns on Edey or not. But I think always foul trouble is going to be important. Which guy gets the second foul at what point in the first half will make a big difference. But it'll be fun. I think that's a matchup everyone's looking forward to.
You ever yell at an official and get a call?
Well, I don't know. I actually I yell at the officials a lot more when I'm watching them on television with Kevin coaching than I did as a coach on the sideline. But no, officials are human. They listen to you. I think they appreciate you doing it in a fairly discreet way. But who knows? They're all different.
All right, Lon Kruger, before we let you go, the way that NC State is playing now, what can confidence do for a team? Because they clearly go on the court feeling like they are better than the team that they're playing.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the roster they've got now is not a lot different from what it was throughout the season.
No, it
isn't.
isn't.
Not like they all of a sudden got a guy healthy.
Right.
So I think that in itself shows what confidence can do and how powerful it is. Because these guys, like you say, after probably the first couple wins in the SEC tournament, they probably started expecting to win.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't have that same level. They always expect to win, but not to the same degree that they did after they got on that roll. And now they absolutely think they're going to win the whole thing, which is, again, credit to Coach Keats and his staff for keeping them moving in a great direction.
Lon Kruger, longtime coach, over 1,100 games, coach, 2 trips to the Final Four, Coaches versus Cancer. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for
My
sitting
pleasure.
down.
Thank you.
You got it. Lon Kruger here on the Adam Gold Show at the Final Four. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot to do. Ladder guy and a rewind next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Fair housing is more than just a celebration in April. For North Carolina's realtors, it's an everyday standard. For the 56,000 realtors across our state, we embrace and support fair housing to stamp out discrimination in all forms. As realtors, we believe fairness is worth fighting for, and we won't stop until the fight is won. Celebrating Fair Housing Month, North Carolina Realtors. We open doors to everyone. Paid for by North Carolina Realtors.
All right, North Carolina, FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, officially live, up and running here in the Tar Heel State. And new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager. Go to FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to sign up now. Then you can bet on everything from hoops to NASCAR and everything in between, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Get started with $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to get started. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games features 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
St. Louis brought the world gooey butter cake. Now Bluebell brings us gooey butter cake ice cream. A cake batter ice cream with a luscious cream cheese swirl and gooey butter cake pieces. It's the gateway to the best in pints and half gallons.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
If the kids want to get on the floor, they're going to get on the floor.
They'll find a way.
There are too many ways to get on the floor.
Yeah, and they've been drinking liquid courage all day.
And that is very possible, but only the ones that are old enough.
Only the older ones, yes.
So, the Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We're going to rewind in a minute. Here's what's going on today. I want to get back to this other bit of news. Derek Brown has signed a 4-year contract to continue being the core of the Carolina Panthers defense. We went into this offseason knowing that it was likely going to be the swan song for Brian Burns, and it was. Trade to the Giants, and they were going to build the rest of their defense around Derek Brown. That happened today. 4-year contract, a little bit more than $63 million of it guaranteed, $96 million overall. Basically the fourth highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL now. He's that good. He was one of the best in the league this year, 25 years old, super solid human being as well. Those are the guys that you want to build around. This is not about whether or not Brian Burns was one of those guys. I think they looked at Brian Burns as a player who maybe was a notch below the upper tier of players at his position. And one thing that you can never do is pay good players, great player money. And you can't pay a guy to be in the upper tier of his profession, of his position, and we're talking about the handful of best, if he's not one of those guys. And maybe I was the outlier for all of this, but I always thought that Brian Burns was like in the second tier of edge rushers, not in that upper crust. And if you can't pay those guys, you can't pay them the top dollar. You just can't do it. You ultimately lose. That's why I argue about that with quarterbacks all the time. It isn't so, well, what's your alternative? It's that you can't pay $45 million. Like, why'd the Giants pay Daniel Jones $40 million? Well, why did they do that? Because of the fear that you don't have somebody else, except that as soon as you pay Daniel Jones $40 million, well, you see what you just paid. He's not that guy. You can't do that. I think we were talking to somebody who's a big Dolphins fan. Look, I don't know that this is not necessarily my opinion, but it's a Dolphin fan's opinion that they don't want to pay Tua. I don't know. I don't know if Tua is one of those guys or not, but somebody's going to pay him $45 million. Who's it going to be? We're sponsored by Verizon here at the Final Four, the network you can rely on for your phone and your home internet. Find the plan that's right for you at Verizon.com. All right, we're going to meet Ladder Guy in just a couple of minutes. Canes play tonight against the Washington Capitals. Last time the Hurricanes lost consecutively in regulation was the beginning of December.
It's been a minute.
No joke. No joke. They had actually lost 4 consecutive games in regulation on that 6-game road trip that started in Western Canada. Played really well in a couple of those games, blew the third period against Calgary, and then from that point on, they got to Ottawa and have not lost consecutive games in regulation since. Since December 12th, they have not lost consecutive games in regulation. Hurricanes lost last night 4-1 to the Bruins, and hopefully will not lose in regulation tonight. In fact, if they win in overtime, let's just say 3-2 or 2-1, and Sebastian Aho scores, dinner's on me.
It's very specific.
There you go. There you go.
Anyone who heard our bets would know.
Yeah. And dinner will be delicious if all of that happens, or if any of that happens. But right now, let's get into a rewind. All right, we've talked to so many people here. Let's talk with my favorite, Julius Hodge, a legend of NC State. I asked Julius, because, look, Julius enjoys life. He enjoys basketball. He is a historian of the game. How have you enjoyed this run from this team?
I've truly enjoyed it. The number one thing is that it was so unexpected from everyone except for those 15 guys in that locker room. And for them to be where they are today, it's amazing. Now, every Pac fan, we love it, right?
Right.
Our number one thing is we want it to be, relevant again. And for us to now be we're the best team in the triangle, in the ACC, right? I think that's hands down. I am not joking. Like, I'm not even joking. I am serious. We're the best team in the ACC. We're the best team in the triangle by far. We've proven that. And the way these guys are playing is just uplifted everyone's spirit, the joy around the program, the happiness, the pride, the sense of pride. We love it. And I know nationally it's been a narrative of, people trying to say the underdog, and that's ridiculous. I mean, we're clearly better than these teams we're beating, and it's not close. So I love it for NC State fans.
My favorite part about talking to Jules earlier is just how, with a straight face, like, he knows what he's doing, and I love him for it. I absolutely love him for it. So I also asked him, if you were Kevin Keatts, how would you game plan for Zach Edey?
Well, For one, I would start with the officials, and I would like to say I hope they call the game extremely tight. Because if they do so, I do believe that we have the better team. But if they allow the big guys to play, which I want to see, because I think that's what everyone wants to see, game planning against a player of that stature, of that size, obviously it's going to be really difficult. Right, but what I would have done, I would have went in synergy, and I would have saw every time he got trapped in a post, and I would have saw his assist-to-turnover ratio out of those situations, and I wanted to see if those passes were leading to assist or hockey assist, or if maybe he was a poor passer out of the post. Then after that, I would go and I would say, all right, well, who do I want to save? Who do I want to have in the game for a long time? And then I would defend him depending on who's the person that I want to stay in the game, right? The great thing about Big Burns is, he plays about half the game and he's able to do what he's doing. So he kind of plays, a bit of reserve minutes, even though he's, clearly one of the better players on the team. He gets this done within half the game. So I think that's an advantage to NC State if the refs call it a close game.
It's Julius Hodge. One more thing with my friend Julius Hodge, who is now an assistant coach at Arkansas Little Rock. Actually spent time 1 year with Nate Oates when Oates was the head coach at the University of Buffalo. What is this about the way State has prepared for this and the way they're playing?
Absolutely. The preparation that Coach Keats has had with this team and his staff and guys being constantly ready to step up to the plate, not just recognizing that it's a big moment, but also capitalizing on that. It's been great to watch. Being able to outplay some of the teams we have and the coaches and outcoaching, right?
Yeah.
It's really been fantastic, amazing, magnificent. Any of the those words or vocabulary you want to use, it's been all of that. But and also a former teammate of mine, Levi Watkins, to be a part of the staff, and he told me when he got the job that he was going to be able to help turn things around. And to see that happen within 2 years, I think Levi is definitely going to be next up for a head coaching job. And I love it for him, and I love it for my Pack.
We all do. We all love it for the Pack. Julius Hodge. By the way, Dennis Cox and I will be on the radio tomorrow between 11 and 1, and we hope to entertain you as we get you ready for the Final Four. When we know exactly where we're going to be, because I know there's going to be a bunch of you coming out here for this. If you want to come by and say hello, we'd love to have you hit us up. By the way, we're sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season. We're in the West. It's Wrangler. Open roads, endless horizons, as there are in Phoenix, by the way. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles made for your next adventure. Wrangler for the ride of life, all bringing us our trip to the Final Four. We got one more to get to, but I do want to get to the women's tournament in Cleveland. Amanda Kostovich, who's actually out here for Front Office Sports covering the men's tournament as well, but everybody will be focused on what's going on in Cleveland. And Amanda joined us earlier, and I said we talked about the fact that 12.3 million people watched Iowa versus LSU in the regional final. It's going to happen again. It's too bad that the championship game is an afternoon game on Sunday, although it is a Sunday, so I still think we're going to get a lot of people watching it. But this whole ride and the attraction, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and just to put those numbers in perspective, right, that was the most watched women's college basketball game in recorded history. It was the most watched college basketball game, men's or women's, on ESPN ever. And one of my colleagues actually did some reporting about how we think it's the most watched women's basketball game, high school, college, or pro, in the last 30 years, I believe. And to answer your question about the star power, I've been telling people that, women's college basketball has always had star power. I think, obviously, we're so oversaturated. It's like almost every good team has a star in the women's tournament this year. But there have always been stars in the women's game. It's just like this is the first time that there has been enough visibility and elevation from a media perspective that the sort of average sports fan is getting to have access to the stars.
Just to drill down on that for a quick second, and Amanda's great. We've obviously spoken to her a lot about the increasing financial element of college sports. And not that college sports hasn't been big money for a long time, but now it is big money. And Amanda's kind of helped us through, the last year plus. But a few years ago, with the Women's European Football Championships, even UEFA didn't realize how big a deal it was going to be. They had set aside really smaller venues to have their high-profile games. And then they get to the final, which was at Wembley, and they realized, my gosh, there is massive interest in this, massive interest in not just women's soccer, women's football, but just women's sports. And you see now there are possibilities. I don't believe it's not personalities. The difference between personalities and stars and great players. And I think it's not so much the personalities that are selling the women's game right now. It's the fact that you have incredible dynamic talents. So I went back to Caitlin Clark. People are not watching Caitlin Clark because she's like a fun, effervescent personality. It's because she's a baller. And if you watch Juju Watkins from USC, it's because she's an incredible player. And people are starting to realize that the game is the game. And if there are great players, you'll watch. And that right now, the women's game is super compelling because there are tons of great players. And yes, it helps that we have familiarity with an Angel Reese, with a Caitlin Clark, with a Paige Beckers, even though she hasn't played in a year because of injury. And, we don't have Juju Watkins, but we've got great, dynamic, visible players here. One more thing with Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports. And again, it speaks to what I've just been talking about, that the game is fun. Actually, I want to skip to the second one. I apologize for jumping over this because I think this is a more important deal. I asked Amanda, is there anybody on site in Cleveland measuring the three-point line?
It's so funny you say that because one of my friends at the Washington Post actually bought a tape measure when he was in Portland, and the NCAA would not let him onto the court to measure the disparity. They announced it the next morning, but he went back with the tape measure. He was texting me. He was like, okay, I'm going to see how many inches it's off, and I'll put that in my story because the games were over for the night. NCAA wouldn't let him onto the court. Typical.
It is typical. I mean, have a sense of humor, people. It's over, right? Nothing you can do about it. All you can do is just kind of move on. Like, we didn't measure, how high the baskets were.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
Might as well laugh about it.
Exactly. Before I forget, I do want to mention this. Interns from Arizona State University, which is in nearby Tempe, which is where the Hurricanes played the Arizona Coyotes. They have done a great job here on Radio Row. So they have helped us out, making sure everything stays on time. They have just done a fantastic job of making sure everything runs pretty smoothly. And thanks to the folks at Westwood One for making all of this possible. Most of the guests that you have heard have been kind of corralled by Westwood One to come up here and just kind of make this thing move. So PJ Carlissimo was great. Tobin Anderson, the head coach at Iona, who was at FDU, the team that beat Purdue in the first round last year. Remember, Purdue's trying to do what Virginia did 6 years prior. Virginia was the number 1 overall seed in 2016. 2018. Lost to UMBC, won it all the following year. Purdue, I don't think they were the number 1 overall seed, but they were a 1 seed last year. Lost to FDU, and now they're trying to win a national championship a year after being just the second team to lose to a 16 seed in the opening round. So, and Tobin, I thought was so much fun. Kevin Kugler's going to have the call of the game on Westwood One. So all of these people who were kind enough to come up, we all get it thanks to Westwood One. And if it's not state, you can still hear the national championship game locally on 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh. This has been a great ride. So let me just sum it up this way. I have been in North Carolina hosting this radio show, or a version of it, for 26 years. We're officially into the year 27 now, because it was it was March when I started, of 1988. So we are now into year 27. And this is one of the most incredible stories that I have covered. It's not that it's a surprise that the Wolfpack as a team could have gotten this far, because we have all watched enough college basketball to know that any team can get hot and any team can make a long, deep tournament run. Any team can do it. But where the Wolfpack was in February, heading into March, riding a 4-game losing streak. Yes, they had a very difficult run-in to the ACC tournament, which really was breeding a 4-game losing streak, considering the teams they played. But where they were then and where they are now is nothing short of incredible. Now, we've always thought that they had a good enough team to be an NCAA tournament team, which means that if you're that good, then this can happen. So I'm not completely blown away that they're here. But considering what it took, when Michael O'Connell, first of all, it starts earlier in that play. I don't even remember the name of Virginia's player who was an 85% free throw shooter who missed the free throw that would have essentially ended the game, would have made it a 4-point game. When he misses that free throw and the ball gets to one of the more improbable players, theoretically you would have thought it would have been DJ Horne, right, with the ball in his hands. Faster, better shooter, all of that. When Michael O'Connell banks in the three, which did a complete tour around the inside of the rim, we've seen balls spin out for the same price, right? When that ball goes in, it sets everything in motion. Next game, NC State goes on to beat North Carolina. Shocks everybody, including the folks at North Carolina. And then this run, hey, I picked them to beat Texas Tech. I thought they'd lose to Kentucky. Didn't have to beat Kentucky. Beat Oakland. Beat Marquette. I picked them to beat. I'm not that I'm clairvoyant. I thought they could beat Marquette. I thought they would beat Duke. It's an incredible run, and every single NC State fan who has lived and died with everything that they have done, every single one of them deserves this. I hope you have as much fun tonight watching the women and tomorrow watching the men as you can possibly have, and I hope we have games on Sunday and Monday. Victoria, thank you very much.
Happy Friday!
Oh, we waited all the way to the end.